Whether they come from commercial flocks or someone's backyard, eggs are the latest example of how expensive some foods have become in the past 12 months. According to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, while overall food inflation hit 9.9% in 2022, egg prices jumped more than 32%. A nationwide outbreak of highly contagious avian flu last fall led to the destruction of millions of birds, creating a perfect storm for egg prices.
There have been some factors over the past year that have caused wholesale and retail prices to increase based on supply and demand. You've had higher input costs in the way of feed, labor, and then you've had this high-path avian influenza outbreak that has impacted 44 million laying hens across the country.
HOBEY BAUGHAN with the Virginia Poultry Federation says commercial egg producers are being squeezed by short supplies and higher expenses for everything, especially the price of feed and diesel fuel needed to ship eggs to market. Virginia only has 2 commercial egg farms, so most of the eggs in our grocery stores come from out of state.
Now, the industry has worked hard to get back online and has replenished a lot of the flocks that were impacted. And so supply has been ramping back up. In the December timeframe, egg prices were at wholesale and retail level pretty high. They've mitigated since then.
Just like during the recent pandemic, some consumers turned to local farmers for their foods this winter when prices got high. DEWEY HAINES and his wife Barbara sell meats and produce from their Fluvanna County farm. They also saw their expenses jump last winter.
The tractor doesn't get used a lot, but it does help me lift some items around the farm. We have a side-by-side. Both of those are diesel. The side-by-side I use at least every 8 days to pull that forward. Just the cost of delivery of feed went up 75 cents per bag in 1 year. I'm only getting 10 to 15 bags, or 10 to 15 bags of delivery, and deliveries every 2 weeks. But all of that does add up. One of the other ones that people aren't aware of, and I would associate some of it with diesel costs or other fuel costs, is just the cost of an egg carton. That simple little cardboard egg carton, it's gone up 20% in just a year.
Despite higher expenses, Haines says they didn't raise their egg prices last year. But he's already warned regular customers their pasture-based eggs will probably cost a little more this summer. The 2022 avian flu outbreak hit just as consumers were gearing up for holiday baking and entertaining, causing major shortages. Avian flu is generally spread by wild birds, but it also can be transported on vehicles, tools, clothing, and shoes. And just like large-scale commercial growers, the Haineses take recommended biosecurity steps to protect their flocks.
When we go off-farm, we have a totally separate pair of shoes. We change other clothing items so that we're not bringing something in. One of the things that they talk about is an exclusionary zone, keeping stuff away from the house. And again, just cleaning the items that I bring out here. The buckets get cleaned when when they get brought back and get refilled.
We need to encourage biosecurity for backyard flocks in addition to the commercial flocks to make sure that they are fending off avian influenza as well, because in this most recent outbreak there have been actually more backyard flocks impacted than commercial flocks across the country.
Heading into the spring of 2023, consumer demand for eggs continues to be strong despite higher prices. Both commercial and local egg producers are determined to do their best to keep providing their popular products.
In 2022, per capita egg consumption in the United States was 277. It's expected to be 286 or thereabouts in 2023, so it's trending upwards.
The USDA is predicting overall food prices will rise another 5% or more this year, and egg prices could go even higher as inflation pumps up the price of fuel and feed. So whether you buy them at a grocery store, at a farmer's market, or have a backyard flock, the price of eggs is expected to continue to be expensive for at least the rest of the year. In Fluvanna County, Virginia, I'm Ricky Gibson reporting.